Hi everyone, it's Victor again, and today we are going to be talking about, as promised, about Venus in Gemini. Now, if you are new to my channel, I'm an astrology enthusiast. I have been studying astrology for 21 years. Actually, there is no day when I don't study something new, actually. Yes, I have been practicing astrology professionally for a while now. Now, we are going to be talking about Venus in Gemini. Typically, I'm just going to be giving you an overview of what Gemini and Venus represent, and then how you can utilize this energy the best way for yourself. And I'm also quite happy because recently I've had plenty of you joining the AstroViktor community, and it really fills my heart with warmth as well. So it looks like you guys appreciate my video, and I'm very happy about it. So as I said, today we will be talking about Venus entering the sign of Gemini and how it might affect you personally. Now, Venus is actually ruling the 5th and the 12th houses from the Gemini sign. So Venus is actually not too bad when it is in the sign of Gemini, especially when it's not even combusted by the sun. So basically, when it comes to Gemini is an air sign, and it is ruled by Mercury. So Venus and Mercury are quite friendly to each other. Therefore, I would say that Venus feels quite comfortable in the sign of Gemini. Probably Venus being a benefic planet, it kind of wants to shower you with some type of blessings and blessings and giving you some type of benefits in your life. Venus especially has got some strength between 13 to 21 degree of the sign. So that's when we should be seeing some boost, basically, some Venusian boost in our chart. Now, Gemini is a dual sign. The energy of the sign and Venus in it would bring self-esteem and values come to the fore now, basically. This is the time to kind of stay a little bit alert in all the actions, as the fusion of Venus and the sign's energy can really result in some type of impulsive nature. We can become a little bit hasty from time to time. During this period, I would say that we're gonna have to stay away from long-term commitments, because Venus wants to focus on pleasure and social aspects of life a lot more than anything to do with commitment. This Venus becomes a lot more communicative, and sometimes this Venus wants to keep a little bit of an emotional distance with others as well. It just wants to soak in as much mental stimulation as possible. Now, Gemini is a warm and a moist sign. As I mentioned, it's double-bodied, it's a masculine air sign, and the home of Mercury. So Venus definitely has to be reliant on Mercury. And Gemini is very youthful. So what's also very positive about this constellation is that Mercury is also in the sign of Gemini. So truly the Gemini qualities are very much emphasized here. So because Gemini is a masculine sign, Venus will become a little bit masculine here as well. But Venus rules over fruits and fertility. So this Venus is still very fertile when it comes to, let's say, some type of chemistry, when it comes to wanting to communicate and have a chat with others. And also, let's not forget that Venus is going to be trining one of its home sign as well, which is Libra. So definitely Venus placement here is quite okay. You know, this Venus might like sitting in a cafe, or, having a cocktail, for instance, with a couple of friends, or it wants to be sitting in a classroom, or it just wants to be moving around. This is a very intellectual, inventive, and a clever Venus. It can sometimes become a little bit deceptive as well, because Mercury in signs rules over trickery. So meaning that sometimes Venus flaky side can be coming out as well, meaning that they might not be listening to others as much as they usually do. Or when it comes to making a decision, usually Venus does talk about kind of a crossroad in our life. So it might talk about a little bit of a hastiness. As I said, Gemini is a hot sign, meaning that it is kind of trying to go upwards all the time. Think about the hot air. So, for instance, when you are sleeping in a gallery, there is like a second floor of your room, right? Then it's a lot hotter up there than down, because the hot air is actually going upwards. So Venus wants to be kind of striving upwards as well in here. And let's not forget that air signs triplicity ruler is actually Saturn, which is also in an air sign. So we've got a very strong air element going on at the moment from a 5th and the 12th house perspective. So meaning that, for instance, if I look at the 5th house aspect of it, that's going to be all about, yes, I want to be having fun. I want to have a child. I want to be a little bit more risky. And from the 12th house perspective, probably I want to be getting lifted up by some positive energy and leaving some melancholic period behind. So this Venus actually can help to speed things up for us. So as I said, the air is always rising upwards and it wants to feed our soul. Air is one of the most important sources of life because we want to be taking a breath. So in Venus in Gemini kind of has got this rebirth going on. So it was in her home sign, which was Taurus, and that was focusing on stability and earning money and the beautiful side of life as well. And now it wants to get out there and start socializing and having a little bit of a fun, which is a very Venusian trait. I also feel like that because Gemini, as I said, it's all about duality. It rules over usually the youth energy. So it's like becoming forever young type of energy. So we might feel that we are filled of energy and we want to be out there. Gemini is all about bisexuality when it comes to the sexual part of things. Let's not forget that Venus is very much about sexuality as well, because we want to be having pleasure in life. So it really talks about this gender fluidness as well, meaning that it doesn't really matter who I'm surrounded by. I just want anyone around me, right? The air, which tends to be circulating. So it's very much about like changing companies from time to time and getting into different type of groups, different type of local communities, and so forth. Gemini is the last sign of the spring. So this is when the weather starts getting warmer, things are blossoming, there are flowers there polluting, the bees are coming out and creating the little honeys. So there is this very buzzy type of energy to this sign. But Venus can be, the downfall of it is that Venus can be quite overstimulated here. Overstimulated by plenty of information. So we start doing something because I just take pleasure in it and I don't finish things, right? Venus can get into even gossips here. Some of the gossips might even cause some type of scandals as well. Of course, Venus is a benefic planet. It doesn't really want to cause any harm, but it just wants to be soaked up in any type of information as possible. So as I said, Gemini is a double-bodied sign. It's a twin sign. So Venus sometimes can have two faces here, showing sometimes the very good side of me and sometimes a little bit of an evil side. But don't get me wrong, that evil is not the pure evil. It's just a little bit of a trickster, really. So Venus rules over beauty, harmony, charm, and Gemini is more of a logic, and it's like the data collector. So it's a little bit of a confliction here, right? But it's a brilliant time to start collecting information about how I can look more beautiful, for instance, or how I can create more harmony in my life. Now, what's also interesting or exciting about this, that Venus and Mercury just started recently on the 25th of April, their new cycle. Because whenever two planets are conjuncting, they are actually starting a new cycle till the next one. Now, that was just like a pre-phase of cycle really for them, because the actual real conjunction between them two is going to be happening on the 29th of May. And the Mercury-Venus cycle is really about becoming and being aware of our own values. So in Gemini, this Venus might want to be talking about those values a lot more, what really matters to us. But of course, Gemini, as I said, it's a dual sign, right? So it acts like there are two sides to the coin, and maybe sometimes we are not able to make a decision which path to take. So there could be a little bit of hesitance with this Venus being in Gemini. Gemini rules over the hand, and Venus is very artistic. So actually, it could be a great time to create something with your hand. It could be an intellectual mental product, or even something tangible. So brilliant to write, especially short stories, or it's brilliant to actually create something artistic as well. So probably with Gemini, which is very much related to Hermes, the god of messenger. So basically, you can get a divine message. Venus rules a little bit over like the muses, but usually this inspiration comes from a human kind. You can easily get seduced by curiosity this time around, or you want to be learning quite a lot, so you are signing up for some type of courses and webinars. Definitely choose mine. And Venus is very open-minded here. It has got kind of an open spirit going on. So you might like reading more magazines or even books. You might want to be planning your travelings, or you just want to be sitting in a car, driving around and having a little bit of a fun. Gemini typically talks about local travels anyway. So it might be just, I'm going to be going into the neighborhood because there is a beautiful park there, and I'm just going to be lingering around as much as I can. Venus is one of those planets which rules over your spending habits. The other one is actually the moon. One is more about kind of sometimes the essential needs, and the moon is more about the emotional needs. So with Venus in Gemini, you might also want to be a little bit careful, because you can spend a lot more, especially on experiences. So I want to go to a fun fair, I want to go to the market, and then I see something and I just want to be buying something. This Venus here is very much about a little bit of a trouble of saving money, really. But actually, Venus can be very good here to make some type of investment decisions as well. Venus here is actually a lot better at dealing with others' money in the sign of Gemini rather than ours. You might want to become intelligent during this aspect, or you want to be experiencing new things. So you might end up in online shoppings, or in a bookstore, or you want to be listening to music and you're going to buy a favorite CD and so forth. You might even want to write letters to others, such as like on scented papers with some nice colored pens or pencils. You might actually want to go for some happy hours at a pub just to be around people. And it's not necessarily because I want to be saving money, but maybe because the name suggests it's a kind of a happy hour. So it also makes me happy as well. So, Venus does rule over your romantic life also. So, and as I said, this is the 5th sign from the Gemini house cusp. So it definitely talks about somehow Venus being flirtatious. So, but it doesn't necessarily mean that Venus is flaky in their romantic life, but they definitely desire to experience new things. So we might just want to be jelly with others, and it might be easy to be misunderstood. So Venus in Gemini can be labeled sometimes with some harsh phrases, and I don't want to be mentioning a couple of examples, but someone who is sleeping around all the time, and it's not necessarily the case. Remember that Venus in Gemini wants to be mentally stimulated. There is an element of a curiosity in it. So if that is the case in your partnership, then it's definitely advisable to try something new in your sexual life. Gemini rules over curiosity. So again, it's very good to try new things in this department, especially when it comes to things like role play. Remember that Gemini Venus doesn't really want to get bored. So it's all about exploration. Venus rules over art, as I said. So it might be just the fact that I'm going to a museum if possible, because I want to gain some new extra information. You also might be spending a lot more time on websites or social media as well. And this could be frustrating to your partner, especially if Venus is shedding some difficult light onto your 7th house ruler. Gemini is all about multitasking, so don't be surprised if this Venus is doing 2 things in one go. So imagine that having 2 books on each hand, and then I'm trying to read both of them. Or maybe it's all about listening to a YouTube channel and you're going to be doing that in a speedy way. So in a 1.5 or 2, because you just want to get to the end of it, because you want to start something new as well. So as I said, the downfall of that Venus in Gemini is that we might not be listening to our partners or people as much as we should. We just want to be listened to. It's very easy to be misunderstood as well during that period, because Venus in Gemini loves talking and they have got plenty to say. And therefore, sometimes there are so much to share that some are mixing up words. So it's actually very good to do Scrabble, for instance, during this period of time, because it's a game which is very Venusian, and Gemini is all about words. But also you might want to be speaking about something which is worthy to you. So such as security and money, especially. You might become a lot more jokey, and you want to be making people feel good about themselves. So it's a brilliant time to give some type of compliments, for instance, or just to make people laugh. You might find yourself texting a lot more, for instance, because there is so much to say and it's a little bit more organized through technology. Remember, this Venus in Gemini can be misunderstood quite a lot. Now, Gemini rules over business transactions and Venus is your money. So as I said, definitely your spending habit could be changing this time around, and we tend to be spending a lot more on internet. I would also say that due to the nature of Gemini, which is all about tricks, pay attention to any type of financial scams, because especially it kind of started last month, and this Venus can actually emphasize that too. You might even feel that I want to be going to a comedy show, for instance, which is going to be giving me some type of laughter. Now, Gemini rules over comedy shows, especially if there is also a little bit of a Uranian flavor going on. But remember that Saturn is also in the sign of Aquarius. So we've got some Aquarian energy triggered here. Also, this is a brilliant time to kind of figure out, or you might be getting an opportunity to figure out how to connect with others. Because obviously Venus, while it was in Taurus, it might have been a little bit restricted because we were focusing more on the foundation. So it's very much about, maybe I'm going to be opening up the windows and then talking to someone the opposite side, or I'm just going to go to the park and, I'm just going to start being chatted up, or I'm going to start chatting people up. So Venus is the planet of togetherness and Gemini is movement. So it's like people are moving together, and especially Gemini is the youth. So in the world, actually, we might be experiencing that some of the youth will actually have a movement towards a special topic, which they are very interested in. So moving together towards something is a very possible on a global scale as well. We want to kind of experience our ideas connected with others as well. It's quite a light aspect, I would say. Now, from a medical perspective, because Venus is all about pleasure and harmony and, basically creating some type of balance. And when it comes to Gemini, basically Gemini rules over the respiratory organs, something to do with the lungs and speech and the auditory organs. In general, it is your limbs as well, your shoulder, your arms, hands, fingers, and something to do with your nerve as well. So this Venus actually can be helping here quite a lot. For instance, if you do some type of arm and shoulder exercises, or you're just going for a foot care, so pedicure, manicure, even massage, or you might be taking like a refreshing bath from time to time, or especially even if you choose massage, it might be something to do with the Turkish bath, or those body scrubs as well, which they do before massage. Very interesting. I've signed up for a spa day, and that's going to be on the 5th of May. And I did not look up any astrological type of indications actually, but the next day Venus is moving into Gemini. And what I asked for was a facial scrub, something to do with a neck massage, and a little bit of a pampering, really. Very, very Venusian in Gemini energy. But also it might be a very good idea to do an air bath or some gymnastics or exercise, even jogging could be something which is actually brilliant. Now, from the mundane perspective, Gemini rules over communication. Rules over travel, but it's more to do with the short travels or traveling by buses, car, bicycles, etc. So we can see a lot more bicycles, for instance, on the roads, or you will be seeing that the buses start getting crammed. We might see some type of traffic jams on the roads as well. It is also possible that we're going to be seeing a lot more posts on social media. Also, when it comes to countries, then Gemini rules over more like the cities or the people who are moving around. So it might be indication of some of the communities coming together. So that's where the traffic jams, the mass transits might be coming through. And also it rules over young people and primary education. So, by the way, some of the old textbooks mentioned that the primary education is more to do with the 5th house. But I do believe that I tend to go towards the 3rd house a little bit more. But you can play with both, actually. but it might be an indication that we are going to be receiving news about how the education will be happening in the near future. So definitely there is going to be some messages received, but those messages easily can be changed as well towards the end of the month. So they might be coming up with something, let's say the schools are opening 1st of June, which is impossible because obviously summer is coming up, but it's just an example. But then as soon as Mercury goes retrograde, we might be receiving another message instead, which can be a little bit more confusing. So overall, that would be Venus transiting Gemini. I would say that, as I said, you will be seeing some of the positive ones. More to do once Venus is going to be reaching that 13 to 21 degree, which is going to be happening somewhere around the 20th of May. So that's when you might be seeing some type of positive boost in your social circle. It might be just the fact that you will be receiving some good news. It really depends where that Venus is going to be in your chart. So you might want to be locating the Gemini house cusp. And also, I would like to mention that, of course, Venus is going to be making some very prominent aspects as well this month. And one of them is going to be a conjunction to North Node. So by socializing with others, or at least going online, you know, in any forms of socializing, really, actually, it could even indicate some fated relationship for you. Or whatever Venus rules in your chart, you might be experiencing a completely new cycle in that department for you. So for instance, Venus rules the 3rd house in my chart, and also it rules the 8th. So I might be experiencing, and Venus is going to be in my 4th house. So it might be the fact that I will be receiving some news about losses. Why is that? Because Venus is 12 sign. I mean, it rules the 12th house from the Gemini house cusp, but the 3rd house itself is something to do with news and rumors and gossips. So that's also something very possible. So this is one of the ways how you should be looking at it. So thank you everyone for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. And don't forget about the Pluto in Aquarius free webinar, which is going to be taking place on the 15th of May at 2 p.m. in Bulgaria, Sofia time. It's going to be about 70 to 90 minutes, and we're going to be exploring together what Pluto in Aquarius might bring for us in the society and how we can prepare for that period of time. So have a blessed Venus in Gemini period, and I hope to see you in my next video shortly. Take care, everyone. Blessed be. Bye-bye.